What's going on, gaming fan? This is Gaming for God coming at you with a little bit more of a casual video for the vlog series. I've done things like this before, but never really as part of a series. And honestly, there's not going to be any editing to this. This is more of a short rant, something that is not in a angry way. This is not like an angry rant. This is I was planning on making a video for today's vlog that would be about the day in the life of a content creator, a full-time content creator. Because many of you guys know that is what I do for a living, not just here on YouTube, but as well as on Twitch. And I realized that one of the things that a lot of content creators are, I don't know if they're afraid to talk about it or if they just choose not to or whatever it may be, it's mental health. And I know that's been a big movement lately. I know that's been a really big thing that a lot of content creators are doing now to kind of like expose the harder parts of being a content creator, and there are definitely more difficult parts, and that's what I want to go over with you guys today, and we're going to go ahead and get it started.
Let my life be the proof of your love.
Alright, so first thing is that honestly, a lot of people think that when you're a content creator, you're a streamer, whatever you want to call yourself, full-time, that really all you do is sit around, play video games for X amount of time that you're live or potentially recording a YouTube video, and then you're done. It's only the time that you see a piece of media that they're actually working. That's not the case, and I can promise you that, for two reasons. One, obviously, you guys know I'm a Christian content creator, but even if you take that emphasis out of it, I know that the most successful content creators I'm aware of that exist, they don't just stream. And they don't just have an editor making YouTube videos for them. If they're making lots of money, they pay an editor, which I think is smart, and I hope to maybe be able to do that at some point. But when you look at the most successful content creators, they all have something in common. They get on a grind. And for some of them, that means they're playing a video game for 50 to 60 hours a week, which is way more difficult than you would think. And honestly, when you're just playing a video game for 50 to 60 hours a week, really not that big a deal. When you have a live audience and you're trying to entertain for 50 to 60 hours a week on top of playing the video game, I promise you, it's a whole other thing. But the other part of it is, obviously, as me being a Christian content creator goes, there's a lot of ministry that takes place off camera, that takes place behind the scenes, that takes place by me reaching out to somebody who's upset in a YouTube comment and saying, hey, you know what, I understand that you're upset with whatever it is. And honestly, sometimes it's Christians, which makes it even more challenging, because you would think that the most challenging comments you would get on a YouTube video as a Christian would be from non-believers, people who are challenging your faith. But what's interesting is I'm finding, at least, that a lot of the challenges, especially with the Hot Topics for Christianity videos, is it's Christians getting upset. And that was not what I expected, and it's been a really edifying thing for me because I've been able to discuss some things with other believers and really just share the different perspective on the issue at hand. But there's a lot of that goes on behind the scenes. Realistically, I'll tell you right now, I work, like actually work, between streaming, creating YouTube content. Right now I'm working on a rebrand, but even when I'm not doing that, I am typically finding myself doing something for at least, keep this in mind, at least 60 to 70 hours per week. People in my life can attest to that. There's times where people will be like, hey, David, would you come out and do X, Y, and Z thing in my personal life? And I'll be like, you know what, I'm sorry, I've got stuff I have to do for the stream or YouTube channel or whatever it may be. And it's a bummer. But I do those things, and that's kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about, is that you do take time off camera, and no one takes that into account, and I want to encourage you to be aware of that before you ever think about getting into it. With that said, that's the main issue I've discovered. The solution to that, make sure you do take time. Take time that you completely shut away from all of social media, from all of Twitch, YouTube, whatever your platform is that you personally create content on, or platforms if you're on multiple. Make sure you're giving yourself ample time off. Because I promise you, I would say at least 90% of people, there are going to be exceptions to the rule, so I will leave the 10% available there, but 90% of people cannot grind for 70 plus hours per week and not burn out eventually. Because honestly, your body isn't meant to do that. Your brain isn't meant to do that. We were designed as human beings by God to have rest. And it is important to give yourself a weekly day of rest. I know a few people who stream every single day without stopping. Like, obviously, okay, let me rephrase that. What I mean by that is they do 8 to 10 hours 7 days a week. Holy moly, slow down. You are going to burn yourself out. And what happens, and I see this a lot, I see this way more often than not, is that those individuals end up burning out and they stop altogether. Because they're like, this is not fun. Why did anybody think this was a good idea? It's because you were pushing yourself too hard. For those of you that are out there thinking about becoming a content creator, the reason I wanted to make this video was so that you had some awareness to the other side of content creation. And there's other people like, Alpha Gaming has talked about mental health. I know that Ashley Christ talks about it, or it might be Chris. I'm not sure how you'd say it, to be perfectly real with you. But I'll leave both of their YouTube channel links in the video description. I encourage you to go check them out. They both are stream. I know that, Ashley calls herself a stream coach, and the Alpha Gaming Harris Heller, he calls himself the stream doctor. They're both extremely helpful, and I know for a fact right off the top of my head there's a great video from Alpha Gaming that talks about mental health, and you really do need to keep that in mind going into content creation. I'm realizing more and more how massive what I get to do is. I went and play laser tag in a local IRL place in Pocatello, Idaho called Outer Limits. When I was there, my wife, my 2 little brothers, and I were playing against 4 kiddos that were probably in between the ages of, I would think, no younger than 10, no older than 12. And every time they would, do something really well or get excited, they would do a Fortnite emote. Now, Fortnite has taken the world by storm, but then the secondary follow-up is all of their names were based on a streamer that's very popular on Twitch. One of them was Ninja's Hyper. Another one was Cypher PK. One of them was Courage JD. I mean, that's how massive this platform is, not just here on YouTube, but on Twitch as well. And we need to realize as content creators, we have a responsibility to the next generation to influence them well. I'm not saying, by the way, that any of those 3 are bad influences. I would actually say, on the contrary, Ninja's Hyper, okay, when he was in that little mode there, he was not necessarily the best influence on the younger generation, but I also don't think he was the worst either. But fast forward to Ninja as he is now, I think he's definitely a lot better of an influence, and I would never speak ill of him because he does really well. That said, I know I'm kind of going on a longer rant than what I meant to, but I'm saying all of that to make a point. The point I'm trying to make is, if you decide to go into content creation, the best thing I can encourage you to do is be a positive light to those around you. That does not require you to be a Christian. Just be positive, be loving towards those that show up in your chat, regardless of your things that you agree on or disagree on. And I just wanted to come before you guys in this YouTube video for the vlog, and instead of talking about the day in the life of a content creator, making it kind of goofy, having a good time, we'll do that sometime later. I promise I'll still do that video. I was realizing, especially lately, I just got back from taking 3 days off. I really needed it in the midst of all of this. I've been full-time in content creation since January 2nd of this year. I took 3 days off, stayed away from social media, stayed away from Twitch, YouTube, and spent it with my wife. I tell you right now, even if you're not married, take the time off and spend a little bit of money on yourself. Go treat yourself a little bit. If you've got $20, stretch that $20 well. If you've got $120, do something with it. And I'm asking you to do that because you're rewarding yourself for hard work, and the other thing that you're doing is you're giving yourself something to do those 3 days, because otherwise you'll want to go right back to everything you normally do. So I'm going to just leave it all with that. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, please feel free to leave a like, as well as clicking the subscribe button, and right next to it, ring the bell so that you can get notified for when I drop the next video. I will be doing some more videos coming up very, very soon. Appreciate all you guys that are already subscribed. You guys do mean a lot to me. We've 115 subscribers last I checked. I really do appreciate you, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Until then, this has been Gaming for God, and I'm signing off.